You ever have that feeling like you're walking on eggshells in a place that's supposed to feel like home? That was me in Dalewood Heights every early morning stroll with my dogs, Murphy and Dash. Picture this, the sun just trying to peek through the trees, birds making their morning racket like they own the place. Yet there I was head down, avoiding the judgmental eyes of neighbors who couldn't care less about my story. Just two dogs and me going about our day. But I could sense that weight of unwelcome hovering around me like I didn't belong. Then came that day, oh boy, that day when the atmosphere shifted. Out of nowhere, a police car rolled up, lights flashing like we were living in a scene straight out of a crime drama. Officers Wyatt Cole and Dan Rickson stepped out, and at first glance, they seemed friendly enough, like they were just doing their job. But there was this air of suspicion, a kind of judgment I can't shake off even now. It was as if they looked at me and saw trouble standing there with a leash in my hand. "Nice dogs you got there," Wyatt says with a smirk, but I could tell he was thinking something else. I did my best to keep the vibe relaxed, chatting about Murphy's playful antics and Dash's knack for giving high fives. But right through that thin layer of conversation, I felt this tightening grip of unease. "You know," Dan chimed in, arms crossed, "people like you, being out here sometimes, it attracts, let's say, the wrong crowd." His tone dripped with that subtle venom, and I felt that sharp prick of irritation rise in me because what did he even mean by that? I hadn't done anything wrong, but all the warmth from the morning sun felt like it had vanished. The tension was escalating, and it wasn't long before Dash sensed it too. He started to growl low, that deep rumble echoing my rising dread. It made me want to pull him closer, shield him from whatever nonsense afoot. "Hey, easy there," I said, trying to defuse the moment, but Wyatt just smirked, almost reveling in it. "Looks like someone's not happy," he taunted, and just like that, I felt my blood boil. With a flick of his wrist, Dan brandished his taser, and I felt my heart drop into my stomach. "You might want to control that dog," he said, stepping forward like he owned the pavement we stood on. I yanked Dash back desperately, holding him tight when POW Wyatt fired a warning shot into the air, the sound ricocheting through the silence of the neighborhood. My mouth fell open. This was madness, ridiculous, surreal, and in that moment something shifted deep inside me. I wasn't just backing down. "You're not hurting my dogs," I shot back, my voice sharper than I expected. There we stood, locked in this tension-filled standoff, and something about my assertion hung heavily in the air. The faces of neighbors peeking from behind curtains, phones recording like we were part of a dark reality show they'd tuned into. But now here's the kicker. After everything, when the dust settled, I found myself painted as the dangerous one. I might as well have had a target on my back thanks to whatever narrative the media decided to spin. They twisted my reality into chaos. I was no longer just a woman with her bond, but a supposed threat lurking in Dalewood Heights. I couldn't stop the tears from falling, the hurt overwhelming. I felt like a misfit in a world that just couldn't understand. But then my friend Sasha stepped in, bless her heart, like a beacon in a storm. She uncovered footage taken by one of those neighbors. When I watched it, my heart raced there. It was undeniably clear. The officers had crossed a line, and all that looming judgment, it was all based on their biases, not who I really was. With that evidence in hand, we went from being a small fish in a big pond to seeking justice, pulling together a community that suddenly started to care. People rallied, demanding accountability. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once as whispers of change filled the air. Wyatt and Dan were stripped of their badges, and inquiries blossomed on how to foster a healthier relationship between law enforcement and the community. But honestly, as much as I appreciated the outcome, this whole ordeal left me wrestling with my thoughts. Who was I now? I had fought back, sure gone from being the underestimated to being seen, but with that visibility came a vulnerability I wasn't ready for. I still felt like that underdog, the one always expected to stay quiet, yet there I was, having waded through a storm. I couldn't help but wonder about the experiences of others, times they felt misrepresented or judged wrongfully. There's a lot to unpack in these stories we tell ourselves. Each one carries a weight, a journey that isn't just black and white. Just makes you think, doesn't it? So as we wrap this up, I invite you to join the conversation. Have you ever been misjudged? What's your perspective on justice? I want to hear all about it. Share your stories or thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this resonated with you, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this discussion alive. because together we can challenge those biases and maybe shift some perspectives.